Hey campers, this is Miss Katrina Cantu, and today we're talking about competition and stress, tackling stress one bite at a time. I drew inspiration for this after reading an APA article that talked about a study on teens feeling the same amount of stress as adults and ranking their stress even higher during the school year. Everyone may have different reasons for their own stress, and that's okay. I'm sure many of you have been feeling stressed, especially with everything happening in the world lately. So let's be aware because our stress can become something we carry with us wherever we go. Yes, even the competition room. Have you ever left a competition feeling like this? Yeah. Well, that's okay. So many of us have, and the best way to gain from these experiences is to remember what we learned so we may better prepare and have better experiences as we continue to grow. So, what does stress look like? Well, let's talk about our body's responses to stress. There's cognitive, emotional, physical, and behavioral, and each of these manifest in their own ways, even more than what I've written down today. Memory problems, feeling overwhelmed, aches and pains, procrastinating, we may not immediately attribute to stress, but the better we get at recognizing them, the better we get at quickly making good choices for ourselves. You're probably thinking, okay, Miss Cantu, so I know what it looks like, but what do I do about it? Here's something I like called find strength in your senses. Basically, you take the elements of your five senses to find ways to bring you peace. These are all examples of things that I do in my everyday life when I know that my mind and my body need a break from what I'm doing so that I can recharge to keep doing what I need to do. And this is so important. And what's also important is to remember, don't suppress the stress because, like we said, it doesn't go anywhere, and left unmanaged for too long can become too heavy to carry on our own, which is also okay. There's definitely going to be situations where your stress might be too difficult to deal with on your own. But asking for help is one of the most important parts of reaching your goals. I'll tell you, I can be guilty of letting overwhelming thoughts and feelings get the best of me at times too, especially times during my piano classes with one of my favorite professors. We'd start new solo repertoire and the thoughts would start as soon as I glanced at the piece. How am I going to be able to do this rhythm, this tempo, with both of my hands? But then my professor would interrupt my thoughts and she'd ask, how do we eat an elephant, class? And we'd look around the room and laugh because we knew the answer was one bite at a time. And that stuck with me because then I started to think, what does that mean to me to take things one bite at a time? And to me, that meant setting small goals and keeping the promises that I made to myself. If it was to start with the left hand and then bring in the right hand and then practice both of them slowly, one small goal became the catalyst to other bigger goals. Now, this probably sounds easier said than done, but it's important to remember that this is a process with steps that you'll probably go back and forth between before you reach your ultimate goal and get better at managing your stress. So be patient with yourselves, campers, because as long as you're in the race, you will get to your destination. And no matter where you are in that race, I hope you are being mindful of what your mind and body needs, keeping those promises to yourself, and asking for help when you need it. And if you ever need a little extra help, I hope you can come back here, keep these quotes, and use them when you need them. I know I've used them when I've needed perspective to remember why I'm doing what I'm doing and why it's so important to take care of myself. Campers, whether you're feeling confident or not so sure about how this process is going to go, just know you've done so much for yourself by coming to UTSA Choir Camp. Putting in the extra work to learn this music and go to sessions like these is making you a well-rounded musician and person. Thank you again for your hard work this week. Stay safe, good luck this year, and I hope to see so many of you guys next year.